Welcome, and
Vítam vás.
for the beginning, let's kneel down for a word of prayer.
Poklakneme na začiatok modlitbe.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, in our series this weekend,
Takže tento víkend v sérii prednášok
we will cover the topic of the time prophets.
pokrieme tému časových prorokov.
Maybe some of you already heard about it,
Možno ste to niektorí už počuli,
but maybe for others it's a completely new topic.
možno pre niektorých je to úplne nová téma.
It is a very old study from this movement,
Toto je veľmi stará štúdia z tohto hnutia.
and I think it was developed between 1989 to 9/11.
Myslím, že to bolo vyvinuté medzi 1989 až 911.
Okay, and we'll go slowly through it.
A pomaly pôjdeme cez to.
And maybe those notes can be, if you give me those later on, people can download them with the videos.
A poznámky, ktoré k tomu máme, budú vlastne pripojené k videu na YouTube, aby ste si ich mohli stiahnuť.
Okay, time prophets. What are time prophets?
Čo sú to časoví proroci?
Time prophets are prophets which have a time period attached to them.
Sú to proroci, ku ktorým je pripojený určitý časový úsek.
And to introduce the subject, we would like to read 3 Ellen White quotes.
A na úvod prečítame 3 citáty od Ellen Whiteovej.
And the first one we read is Selected Messages, Book 3, page 84.
Prvá je 3SM 84. To sú vybrané posolstva.
There it says, one thing is certain, those Seventh-day Adventists who take their stand under Satan's banner will first give up faith in the warnings and reproofs contained in the testimonies of God's Spirit.
I was thinking to just do it in Slovak like last time. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for me it's easier if we do both.
Jedna vec je istá. Tí adventisti, ktorí sa postavia pod prápor Satana, sa ako prvé vzdajú viery vo varovania a výčitky obsiahnuté vo svedectvách Božieho ducha.
Okay, so people who will be on the side of Satan or going over to the side of Satan,
Čiže tí, ktorí prejdú na stranu Satana,
the first thing they will give up
prvá vec, ktorej sa vzdajú,
are the warnings and reproofs contained in the testimonies of God's Spirit.
sú varovania a výčitky obsiahnuté vo svedectvách Božieho ducha.
So what is the testimony of God's Spirit?
Čo je to svedectvo Božieho ducha?
Let's read the Desire of Ages, page 799.
Čítame Túžbu vekov 799.
It says, it is the voice of Christ that speaks through patriarchs and prophets from the days of Adam even to the closing scene of times.
Je to hlas Krista, ktorý hovorí skrze patriarchov a prorokov od dní Adamových až do záverečných scén času.
So from the beginning of the world till the end of the world,
Takže od začiatku po koniec sveta
Christ is using patriarchs and prophets
Kristus používa patriarchov a prorokov,
to speak.
aby hovorili.
That's how he speaks to his people.
A takto on hovorí k svojmu ľudu.
And let's read the last quote.
Posledný citát.
Testimonies, volume 5, page 661.
Toto je 5T 661, svedectvá pre cirkev 5.
In ancient times, God spoke to men by the mouth of prophets and apostles.
V dávnych dobách Boh hovoril k ľuďom skrze ústa prorokov a apoštolov.
In these days, he speaks to them by the testimony of his Spirit.
V týchto dňoch k ním hovorí skrze svedectva svojho ducha.
There was never a time when God introduced his people more earnestly than he instructs them now concerning his will and the course that he would have them pursue.
Nikdy nebola doba, kedy Boh vyučoval svoj ľud viac, ako ho vyučuje teraz, týkajúca jeho vôle a smeru, ktorým chce, aby išli.
So in this quote we see
Tu vidíme,
that prophets and apostles,
že proroci a apoštoli,
which are the mouthpiece of the Lord,
ktorí sú vlastne ústami Boha,
are the testimonies of his Spirit.
sú svedectvami jeho ducha.
So when we go back to the first quote,
Keď pôjdeme naspäť k tomu prvému citátu,
those people who will go under the banner of Satan,
tí, ktorí vojdu pod prápor Satana,
and they give up first the testimony of God's Spirit,
sa najprv zdajú svedectva Božieho ducha.
is that they will first give up the warnings and the reproofs of the prophets.
Oni sa vlastne ako prvé vzdajú varovania a výčitiek prorokov.
And we know we are living in the shaking time.
Vieme, že žijeme v čase triebenia,
where everything that can be shaken will be shaken.
kde všetko, či môže byť zatrasené, tým bude zatrasené.
So for us it's important to know these things.
Pre nás je dôležité tieto veci vedieť,
The warnings and rebukes of the prophets.
že varovania a výčitky prorokov,
And we will see people who despise these reproofs and warnings.
poznať ich a zároveň rozpoznáme aj ľudí, ktorí despise is like reject.
Yeah.
Ktorí odmietajú tieto výčitky a varovania.
And finally they're leaving the platform.
A odídu z tej základne.
So that's why even this old subject of the time prophets
Takže aj keď táto téma je veľmi stará, tí časoví proroci,
is present truth for us now.
je to teraz prítomná pravda.
Okay, so prophets are the mouthpiece of the Lord, they're the testimony of His Spirit.
Proroci sú ústa, skrze ktoré Boh hovorí a sú to svedectvá jeho ducha.
And we see that, or our subject is the time prophets.
Naša téma sú časoví proroci.
And we said this is a prophet which is in connection with time period.
A sú to proroci, ktorí majú určitú spojitosť s nejakým časovým úsekom.
So here you have a time prophecy.
Takže máme časové proroctvo.
And in the beginning,
Na začiatku
you have a prophet
máme proroka,
which is proclaiming this prophecy.
ktorý hlása to proroctvo. Za toľko sa stane to a to.
So this would be a proclaiming prophet.
Čiže to je vlastne taký prorok, ktorý hlása, alebo prehlasujúci prorok.
So what are the initials for proclaiming prophet? Like it would be PP in English.
Nazveme ho hlásajúci prorok, takže HP.
HP?
HP, hlásajúci prorok.
HP, proclaiming prophet. And then at the end of this time prophecy,
A na konci tohto časového proroctva
we would have another prophet now.
máme druhého proroka,
But this prophet wouldn't proclaim now the time prophecy
ale ten nehlása časové proroctvo,
because it's already at the end.
lebo už je to na konci,
This prophet is now a gathering prophet.
ale je to zhromažďujúci prorok.
So in the English it would be GP for gathering
Takže
prophet.
zhromažďujúci prorok ZP.
ZP.
Čiže na začiatku je prorok, ktorý hlása a na konci je prorok, ktorý zhromažďuje.
Like this? Okay. So we have one prophet. He is proclaiming this time prophecy.
Máme jedného proroka, ktorý hlása proroctvo
Okay. And then we have here at the end, we have the gathering prophet.
a na konci máme zhromažďujúceho proroka.
So there are certain characteristics.
Sú určité vlastnosti.
And one of them is that at the end there's always a remnant people being gathered.
Sú určité vlastnosti toho zhromažďujúceho proroka. Jedna z nich je, že na konci je vždycky ostatok.
You want to write that down? Here, write it here under the dot. You can stay there. We make 4 or 5 points.
Takže na konci je vždy ostatok Božieho ľudu.
And the next one is that the message of this prophet is present truth.
Posolstvo tohto proroka je prítomná pravda.
Okay, message, present truth message.
Posolstvo prítomnej pravdy.
And that this message, this prophet is proclaiming here is about life and death.
Toto posolstvo, ktoré ten prorok hlása, vlastne je posolstvo na život a na smrť.
And we see also, how many were there? Okay, another one, we have another one. And this is that the name of the prophet always corresponds with his work.
Meno proroka korešponduje s jeho dielom.
So we will get the names of the prophets.
Takže budeme tých prorokov.
Okay, so we said they're time prophets.
Hovorili sme, že sú časoví proroci.
Time prophets have a time period or time prophecy connected to them.
oni majú časový úsek alebo proroctvo, ktoré je k ním spojené.
We have a proclaiming prophet
Je hlásajúci prorok,
who's proclaiming the time prophecy.
ktorý hlása proroctvo.
His name corresponds with his work.
Jeho meno korešponduje s jeho dielom.
And at the end of this time prophecy,
A na konci tohto časového proroctva
we have a gathering prophet.
máme zhromažďujúceho proroka,
Oh, I need to look what that means. Which gathers a remnant.
ktorý zhromažďuje ostatok.
His message is present truth for this time.
Jeho posolstvo je prítomná pravda.
It's a life and death
Je
message.
to posolstvo na život a na smrť.
And also his name corresponds with his work or mission.
A tiež jeho meno korešponduje s jeho dielom.
Okay, now we want to enter into the subject and show different or various gathering prophets and time prophets.
Ukážeme vám
Or
rôznych
proclaiming prophets. together.
hlasajúcich a zhromažďujúcich prorokov.
Okay, the first one we look at is Enoch.
Takže ten prvý je Enoch.
And Enoch, when you look up the name,
Keď sa pozrieme na jeho meno,
it means teacher or dedicated.
znamená učiteľ alebo odovzdaný.
So was Enoch a teacher?
Bol Enoch učiteľ?
Let's read from Ellen White.
Prečítame z Ellen Whiteovej.
She says in the upward look, page 228.
Je to z Upward Look 228.
Enoch was a public teacher of the truth in the age in which he lived.
Enoch bol verejný učiteľ pravdy v dobe, v ktorej žil.
He taught the truth, he lived the truth, and the character of the teacher who walked with God was in every way harmonious with the greatness and sacredness of his mission.
Učil pravdu, žil pravdu a povaha učiteľa, ktorý kráčal s Bohom, bola v každom smere v harmonii s veľkosťou a posvetnosťou jeho misie.
Enoch was a prophet who spake as he was moved by the Holy Ghost.
Enoch bol prorok, ktorý hovoril tak, ako mu dával Svätý Duch hovoriť.
So Enoch, he was a prophet. It says he was a prophet.
Sestra Whiteová hovorí, že bol prorok.
And his name means that he's a teacher.
Jeho meno znamená, že je učiteľ.
So his name corresponds with his work or ministry.
Jeho meno korešponduje s jeho dielom a so službou.
So what was Enoch teaching about?
Čo vlastne Enoch učil?
What did he prophesy?
O čom prorokoval?
Because he was a prophet.
Pretože bol prorok.
And I'm suggesting that he is standing at the beginning of a time prophecy.
On stál na začiatku časového proroctva.
He is a proclaiming prophet.
On je hlásajúci prorok.
How do we write Enoch?
And just like in English.
Just like in English.
Enoch.
Okay, Enoch. Let's read Jude 1, verses 14 and 15.
Prečítame z Júdu 1, 14 a 15.
Okay, we'll see several characteristics of Enoch,
Je tu niekoľko vlastností Enocha
which we will draw several conclusions from that,
a z toho vyvodíme niekoľko záverov.
besides the fact that he's a proclaiming prophet.
Okrem toho, že je hlasajúcim prorokom.
So interesting is here that we read
Takže čítame
Jude 1, 14 and 15.
Júda 1, 14, 15.
It says there, and Enoch also the seventh from Adam prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and all of their hard speeches which ungodly sinner has spoken against him.
A prorokoval aj o nich 7 od Adama, Enoch, keď povedal, hľa, prišiel Pán so svojimi svätými myriadami, učiniť súd proti všetkým a náležite skárať všetkých ich bezbožníkov pre všetky skutky ich bezbožnosti, ktorými páchali bezbožnosť, a pre všetky tvrdé reči spúpne, ktoré hovorili proti nemu hriešnici bezbožní.
Okay, first of all, we see here that Enoch was the seventh of Adam.
Takže vidíme, že Enoch bol 7 od Adama.
And that's interesting for us to see for later on.
To je pre nás zaujímavé, neskôr.
But what was Enoch proclaiming?
Čo Enoch hlásal?
What does it say in these verses here?
Čo to hovorí v týchto veršoch?
What was the subject of his message?
Aká bola téma jeho posolstva? Príchod
Pána Ježiša.
Coming of Christ.
Coming of Christ, yes?
Príchod Pána.
And
Soul, judgment.
judgment.
Súd. Mhm.
So he is proclaiming judgment.
On hlása súd.
So Enoch's message is about coming judgment.
Enochové posolstvo je o prichádzajúcom súde.
And we would like to draw a parallel.
Chceme z tohto urobiť paralelu.
So we have Enoch here.
Je tu Enoch.
And he's proclaiming judgment.
A on ohlasuje súd.
And what angel's message
Aké je to posolstvo?
warns about coming judgment?
Ktorý anjel hlása o prichádzajúcom súde?
První.
The first angel's message. So we see how Enoch
Prvý anjel
lines up with the first angel's message.
je vlastne v línii s prvým anjelom.
First angel's message, I don't know how you want to spell that.
Takže prvý anjel. Napíšem prvé anielské posolstvo.
AP's angel's message? Okay. I'll try to learn that. Okay, so Enoch's message corresponds with the first angel's message.
Enochové posolstvo korešponduje s posolstvom prvého anjela.
Let's read, before we go there. Remember that Enoch was the seventh of Adam.
Enoch bol 7. od Adama.
So I'll mark a little 7 here in green.
Dám sem takú sedmičku.
Who was proclaiming the first angel's message?
Kto hlásal posolstvo prvého anjela?
One guy.
Bol to jeden človek.
Who was warning before the coming judgment
Kto varoval o prichádzajúcom súde?
under the first angel's message?
Pod posolstvom prvého anjela.
Jan Krstiteľ.
John the Baptist.
When was the first angel's message proclaimed in the world?
Kedy bolo v tomto svete hlásané prvé anjelské posolstvo?
V době Milaritu, takže
In
Milar.
the timeline of the Millerites, right? So
Za Milaritov.
who was proclaiming the message
A kto
first?
hlásal to posolstvo?
Who was the guy?
Kto to bol?
Miller.
William Miller. And William Miller,
Miller.
what did he find? What time prophecy?
Čo on rozpoznal? Aké časové proroctvo?
It's a long time prophecy.
Áno, 2520.
2520.
The 2520.
2520.
And there's another name for the 2520.
A je ešte iný spôsob, ako nazývame 2520.
How do we call the 2520?
Ako ho nazývame 2520?
Ja neviem, zhromaždení, rozptýlení.
Gathering and...
Scattering, okay, that's all correct.
Áno,
But
ešte.
in the name there is a number included.
Je v tom určité číslo?
Palmonaj. Palmonaj.
Okay, Palmona gives the numbers.
Palmona je ten, ktorý dáva to číslo.
In Leviticus 26,
Leviticus 26
does
je
it
to,
say the 2520?
tam sa píše 2520.
7 time.
The 7 times.
7 časov.
So we see here, we have Enoch, he's the 7th of Adam.
Enoch je 7. od Adama,
So we see a 7 in his ministry.
v jeho diele je sedmička
He warns from the coming judgment,
a varuje o prichádzajúcom súde,
which is the first angel's message.
čo je prvé anielské
And
posolstvo.
we see that William Miller is proclaiming this message here.
A vidíme, že William Miller hlása toto posolstvo
And we're seeing it's connected with the 7 times of Leviticus 26.
a je to spojené so 7 časmi Leviticus 26.
Okay? So let's read a quote from Ellen White
Poďme čítať citát od Ellen Whiteovej.
and see if we also see the second and the third angel's message in this time period.
Či v tomto čase uvidíme aj druhé a tretie anielské posolstvo.
Testimonies, volume 6, page 392.
Toto je 6T 392, svedectva 6.
Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him.
Enoch chodil s Bohom a už ho nebolo, pretože ho Boh zobral k sebe.
To him, Enoch was committed the message of the second coming of Christ.
Bolo mu dané, aby zvestoval druhý príchod Krista.
And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all.
Prorokoval tiež o nich 7. od Adama, hovoriac, Pán sa berie so svätými tisícmi svojimi, aby učinil súd nad všetkými.
The message preached by Enoch and his translation to heaven were a convincing argument to all who lived in his time.
Toto Enochovo posolstvo a jeho vzatie do neba boli presvedčujúcimi dôkazmi pre všetkých súčasníkov.
These things were an argument that Methuselah and Noah could use with power to show that the righteous could be translated.
Boli tie argumenty tiež aj pre Matuzalema a Noecho dôrazné na to, aby nimi mohli presvedčivo dokázať, že spravodliví môžu byť vytrhnutí alebo premenení.
Okay, so we're seeing that the message which Enoch was proclaiming
Posolstvo, ktoré Enoch hlásal,
was taken up by whom?
bolo prevzaté kým?
There are two more guys
Ešte sú tam dvaja,
who were preaching the same message.
ktorí hlásali to isté posolstvo.
Where are they?
Kto to bol? Matuzalem. Matuzalem.
I just put an M because his name is so long. And then and the next one was
A Noé.
Noah.
I.
Like this?
No. N-O-I.
N-O-E, just like Noah.
Mhm.
That means
N-O-I.
E is in German.
Okay.
I. Okay. So we have Enoch, Methuselah, and Noah.
Máme tu Enoch, Matuzalem a Noa.
And from Selected Messages, Book 2, page 104 and 105,
Z vybraných posolstiev 2, 2SM, 104, 105,
there Ellen White talks about the proclamation of the first and second angels' messages.
Ellen Whiteová hovorí o hlásaní prvého a druhého posolstva
And she talks about, she says we're now under the proclamation of the third.
a hovorí, že my sme teraz pod hlásaním tretieho.
And she says by pen and voice we are to sound the proclamation showing their order and application of the prophecies that bring us to the third angel's message. There cannot be a third without the first and second.
Ona hovorí, že písomne aj ústne ich máme hlásať, ukazujúc poradie a aplikáciu proroctiev, ktoré nás privádzajú k posolstvu tretieho anjela. Proroctvo tretieho anjela nemôže existovať bez proroctva prvého a druhého.
We take the sentence there cannot be a third without the first and second
Vezmeme si tú vetu, že nemôže byť tretí bez druhého a prvého.
to show that the three angels' message always goes together and it is an order to it.
Aby sme ukázali, že to tretie anielské posolstvo ide vždy s nimi a má to svoje poradie.
And interesting is that she shows that the previous two show the way, or they bring us, these bring us to the third angel's message.
A ona hovorí, že tie prvé dva nás privádzajú k tretiemu.
That's exactly what happens in the time period of Enoch.
Presne to sa stalo v čase Enocha.
Enoch represents the first angel's message,
Enoch reprezentuje prvé anielské posolstvo,
while Methuselah represents the second,
Matuzalem druhé
and Noah represents the third.
a Noach tretie.
Because what happens normally at the third waymark, or the third angel's message?
Čo sa stane pri tom treťom milníku?
What's the characteristic?
Akú to má vlastnosť? Ten tretie anielské posolstvo.
Dochází k soudu.
Judgment.
Judgment.
Je tam súd.
Was there a judgment in Noah's time?
Udial sa súd v čase Noacha.
Was the flood, right?
To bola potopa.
And Enoch was warning warning of this flood. He was warning the people.
Enoch varoval pred touto potopou.
Okay? And so also William Miller,
Tiež William Miller,
he was also warning before the judgment which would occur here.
tiež vlastne varoval pred súdom, ktorý sa mal udiať tu.
October 22nd, 1844.
Október 22, 1844.
Do we have a judgment there?
Stal sa tam súd?
What judgment do we have there, Mark?
Aký to je súd?
Vyšetřující.
Investigative.
Investigative? And who's being investigated?
A koho vyšetruje? Kto je vyšetrovaný?
Boží lid.
God's people.
God's people? The living or the dead?
Současný.
Živí alebo mŕtvi.
The dead, okay? So judgment on the dead begins
Čiže
here.
začína súd nad mŕtvými.
Okay? Okay. So let's show another interesting fact.
Ďalší zaujímavý fakt.
Let's go to Genesis 5, verses 21 and 27.
Poďme do Genesis 5, 21 až 27.
I will take this upper part now out. I hope everyone wrote it down.
Toto teraz zmažem, dúfam, že už to máte napísané.
So Enoch is a proclaiming prophet, and he's proclaiming judgment.
Enoch je hlasajúci prorok a ohlasuje súd.
So let's read Genesis 5, verses 21 to 27.
Poďme čítať Genesis 5, 21 až 27.
And Enoch lived 60 and 5 years and begat Methuselah.
A Enoch žil 65 rokov a splodil Matuzalema.
And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters, and all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 180 and 7 years and begot Lamech. Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 780 and 2 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 960 and 9 years, and he died.
A Enoch chodil s Bohom po splodení Matuzalema 300 rokov a splodil synov a dcéry. A bolo všetkých dní Enochových 365 rokov. A Enoch chodil s Bohom a nebolo ho, lebo ho vzal Boh. A Matuzalem žil 187 rokov a splodil Lámecha. A Matuzalem žil po splodení Lámecha 782 rokov a splodil synov a dcéry. A bolo všetkých dní Matuzalemových 969 rokov a zomrel.
So Enoch was how old when he got Methuselah as a son?
Koľko mal Enoch, keď dostal Matuzalema? 65.
65.
65.
So that's why I just put the marker here now, 65.
Takže dala som sem 65.
Because we want to show you something.
Niečo vám tu chcem ukázať.
And then Methuselah is living how long?
Matuzalem ako dlho žije?
Methuselah is living 300?
969.
969.
900 something, 69?
Mhm.
Okay, so I remember we said a proclaiming prophet proclaims something and gives a time prophecy.
My sme povedali, že hlásajúci prorok niečo hlása a dáva časové proroctvo.
And I'm suggesting to you
Ja vám hovorím,
that Methuselah himself,
že Matuzalem,
the son of Enoch,
syn Matuzalema,
is this time prophecy.
Matuzalem sám je toto časové proroctvo.
And he lives 696 years.
Žil 969 rokov.
And what does his name mean?
Čo znamená jeho meno?
Methuselah means
Metuzalem znamená,
when he is dead, it shall be sent.
Keď zomrie, tak to príde, alebo bude to poslané.
Or messenger of death.
Alebo znamená jeho meno posol smrti.
So Enoch has the son Methuselah.
Enoch má syna Matuzalema
And by giving him the name Methuselah,
a tým, že mu dal meno Matuzalem,
he gives the prediction whenever his son dies, it will happen.
dáva proroctvo, že keď jeho syn zomrie, tak sa to stane.
And when he dies, what shall happen?
A keď zomrie, čo sa stane?
What is at the end?
Čo je na konci?
Sú potopa.
The flood.
Potopa.
How do you write that? So at the end is the flood.
Takže na konci je potopa.
Okay, and who's proclaiming at the end?
Kto hlása na konci?
Noah.
Noah.
And we'll come to him in a second.
Hneď k nemu prídem.
First, I want to show something else.
Najprv vám chcem niečo iné ukázať.
Because here we have a 65 marker.
Tuto je 65.
And interesting is that we can line this up with something else.
Je zaujímavé, že to môžeme dať do línie ešte s niečím iným.
Do we know this number 65 from another passage in the Bible?
Poznáme číslo 65 ešte z inej pasáže v Biblii?
Yeah, where?
Kde?
U Izajáše, že do 65 let rozkotal Efraim.
Isaiah that within 65 years
Yes.
Ephraim will be broken.
Let's read it. Isaiah 7 verse 8.
Izaiáš 7:8.
Isaiah 7 verse 8. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, and within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it not be a people.
Lebo hlavou Sýrie je Damašek a hlavou Damašku je Recín a ešte 65 rokov a Efraim bude rozdrtený, takže prestane byť ľudom.
So we also see here this 65 mark.
Tu bola tiež 65-ka.
In 65 years, Ephraim shall be broken.
A za 65 rokov Efraim mal byť rozdrtený.
We know in the year 7042 BC.
A v roku 742 pred Kristom.
Is that how you do BC?
Yeah, you can do like that.
Okay, that's how the French do it. The northern tribes were taken.
Severný kmeň bol vzatý.
And 677, the southern tribe were taken.
A 677 južný kmeň bol vzatý.
723? Thank you.
Pardon, 723.
I need to change that in my notes.
742 is when the prediction was.
Ah, okay. Then 742.
Toto mám dobre.
That was right.
Tam bola tá predpoveď.
And we make another way mark in here.
A ten severný, takže v roku 742 pred Kristom bola daná tá predpoveď a v 723 bol vzatý severný kmeň a 677 južný.
So prophecy, taken.
Takže proroctvo a tu boli vzatí do zajatia.
Okay. And how long was the time prophecy?
Aké dlhé bolo to proroctvo?
25-20.
2520, right?
2520.
I'll just put 2520. And where would it end?
A skončilo kde?
1798.
1798.
Yeah, this one would end 1798, and this one?
Tento v 1798 a ten druhý
1844.
1844.
44. And what occurs in
A
1844?
čo sa vtedy stalo? 1844?
Soud, judgment.
Judgment
Súd.
again.
Začal súd.
So this shows us Methuselah is a symbol for what prophecy?
Vidíme, že Matuzalem je symbolom ktorého proroctva?
25-20.
He's a symbol for the 2520.
20. And he is the longest person in the Bible.
Yes. And Methuselah is the longest, he lived the longest.
Matuzalem žil vlastne najdlhšie z celej Biblie.
And what is the longest time prophecy in the
A
Bible?
čo je najdlhšie proroctvo v Biblii?
25-20.
It's the 2520.
25-20.
Okay, at the end, we see Noah.
Na konci vidíme Noacha.
Let's look now at Noah.
Poďme pozrieť na Noého.
Noah, the name means rest
Jeho meno znamená odpočinok,
or comfort or comforter.
potešiť alebo potešiteľ. Alebo utešiteľ.
Did Noah comfort the people?
Utešoval Noa ľud.
Did his work correspond with his ministry? Or with his name, sorry. Did his ministry correspond with his name?
Korešpondovalo jeho meno s jeho dielom.
Let's read a Bible verse.
It's comfort that you can be saved.
It's comfortable. Okay, it's comforting to be saved, yeah. Let's read Genesis 5 verses 28 and 29.
Poďme čítať Genesis 5, 28-29.
Genesis 5 verses 28 and 29. There it says, and Lamech lived 182 years and begot a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed.
Lamech žil 182 rokov a splodil syna. Nazval jeho meno Noé, čo znamená oddych, hovoriac, tento nás poteší a oddychneme si od svojho diela a od bolesti práce svojich rúk, od zeme, ktorej zlorečil Hospodin.
So we see here the name Noah, even from the Bible, means that he shall comfort us.
Dokonca aj Biblia nám hovorí, že meno Noécha znamená, že nás poteší alebo uteší.
So, but we see Noah is now at the end of a time prophecy.
Vidíme, že Noé je na konci časového proroctva.
And what is he doing now? Is he a proclaiming prophet?
A čo on je? Hlasajúci prorok alebo zhromažďujúci?
He's a gathering
On
prophet.
zhromažďuje.
Who's he gathering?
Koho zhromažďuje?
He's gathering a remnant, right?
Zhromažďuje ostatok.
How many people were saved?
Koľko ľudí bolo spasených?
8, right?
8.
8 people were saved.
8 ľudí bolo zachránených.
Was his message about life and death?
Bolo jeho posolstvo na život a na smrť?
Yes, it was.
Áno.
So we can check all these things. And the comfort is that even though the world was to be judged, because we see judgment here,
To potešenie alebo útecha bola v tom, že napriek tomu, že svet mal byť súdený,
is that Noah's message was to warn about the coming flood,
Noachové posolstvo bolo varovať o tej prichádzajúcej potope,
but at the same time he gave a message of comfort,
ale zároveň dáva posolstvo útechy,
of encouraging people to help him build the ark and come on the ark
že môžu pomôcť tú arku stavať a môžu byť zachránení.
and be saved.
A byť zachránení.
So he had also it is true his name corresponds with his work.
Takže jeho meno korešponduje s jeho dielom.
He was also to comfort the people.
On mal potešiť ľud.
Okay, here we want to look at another little jewel.
Chceme sa pozrieť ešte na taký malý detail.
We saw that Methuselah can be represented as the 2520.
Matuzalem môže byť reprezentovaný ako 25-20.
Now we want to see something else.
A ešte niečo chceme sa pozrieť.
Okay, Genesis 6 verse 3.
Genesis 6:3.
And there it says, "And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years."
A Hospodin riekol, nebude sa môj duch prieť s človekom na veky, v jeho blúdení je telo a bude jeho dní 120 rokov.
So we're seeing here the time period of 120 years.
Vidíme tu čas 120 rokov.
Let's read what Ellen White says about this.
Poďme čítať, čo o tom hovorí Ellen Whiteová.
Signs of the times, January 3, 1878.
Toto sú znamenia doby, 3. január 1878.
When Noah proclaimed the solemn message, yet 120 years the judgment of God in a flood water should destroy the world and its inhabitants, man would not receive it, so it is at the present time.
Keď Noé hlásal to vážne posolstvo ešte 120 rokov, kým Božie súdy potopou zničia svet a jeho obyvateľov, ľudia to neprijali tak, ako je to dnes.
So Noah was preaching how long?
Noé hlásal ako dlho? 120 rokov.
120 years. Is that what he said? Okay.
120 rokov.
So we have Noah, and this is flood. This is flood. Okay. And then here the flood will come.
Po 120 rokoch prišla potopa.
This is where the Lord takes away his spirit.
Vtedy Pán odňal svojho ducha.
And it took 120 years to build the ark as well.
A 120 rokov trvalo, kým sa vystavala archa.
You can read that in Patriarchs and
To
Prophets.
sa píše v Patriarchoch a prorokoch.
Okay, so when did Methuselah die? What was his name again?
Kedy zomrel Matuzalem? Aké bolo jeho meno?
What is the significance again? It was when he dies, it shall happen, right?
Keď on zomrie,
Shall
tak
be
to,
sent.
keď on zomrie, tak to príde.
What shall happen?
Čo sa stane?
The flood.
Potopa.
And in fact, when Methuselah died,
A naozaj, keď zomrel Matuzalem,
the same year the flood occurred.
v tom istom roku bola potopa.
Okay? So we know that this flood is when Methuselah dies,
My vieme, že táto potopa je, keď zomrie Matuzalem,
but it's also when the 120 years end.
ale vtedy aj končí 120 rokov.
It's the same time point.
Je to vlastne rovnaký časový bod.
Methuselah, we already stated, can represent the 2520,
My sme už povedali, že Matuzalem reprezentuje 25-20,
which we know can end here in 1844.
ktoré vieme, že končí v 1844.
However, what is the second time prophecy which ends in 1844?
Aké ďalšie proroctvo končí v 1844?
2300.
2300.
The 2300.
2300.
Therefore, we see
Takže vidíme,
that the 120 from Noah,
že tých 120 od Noacha,
this time prophecy, or this prophecy,
toto proroctvo,
this time period,
alebo tento časový úsek
can represent the 2300.
nám môže reprezentovať 2300.
So we see the 2520 and the 2300
Vidíme, že 2520 a 2300
depicted in the story of Methuselah and Noah.
Sú vlastne ukázané v príbehu Matuzalema a Noého.
Okay, so this was a little bit of a detour, like
Tak to sme troška tak uhli
side.
z cesty na takú peknú prechádzku.
Now we come back and focus on our prophets.
Ideme naspäť k prorokom.
Everything clear so far?
Zatiaľ je to jasné?
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at our next prophet in history.
Ďalší prorok v dejinách
Who would that be?
je kto?
Noah, then comes the flood, and who's the next prophet?
Noá, ten hlásal potopu, potom kto bol ďalší prorok? Moses.
Moses, okay, good guess.
Dobre.
There's one before Moses.
Ešte jeden pred ním.
Jozef?
So- I have a question. Is Moses a gathering prophet or a proclaiming
Je
prophet?
Mojžiš zhromažďujúci prorok alebo
Mojžiš
hlásajúci?
zhromažďující. Aha.
Moses is gathering.
Tak Jozef byl ten první.
They say Joseph.
Joseph? How was Joseph a prophet?
Ako bol Jozef prorok?
Že on řekl, že prostě, že výjdou z toho Egypta.
That he said that they will leave from Egypt, that they will be taken out of Egypt.
Okay. Where did Joseph get this prophecy from?
Odkiaľ mal Jozef toto proroctvo?
From where did he? Yeah. Now it may click.
Tak, už to máme.
It was
Je to
Abraham.
Abraham.
Okay. We also have to factor in there are more prophets in the Bible.
Je viac prorokov v Biblii.
The question is, are they time prophets?
Ide o to, či sú časoví proroci.
Is a time prophecy connected to them?
Či majú v spojení so sebou časové proroctvo.
Because we know there are many prophets in the Bible,
Lebo v Biblii je mnoho prorokov,
but is there also a time prophecy attached to them?
ale k nim musí byť pripojený čas, aby boli časoví
In this
proroci.
study, we look at the prophets which have a time prophecy attached to them.
Čiže v tejto štúdii sa pozeráme na tých časových prorokov.
So the next one after the flood for us would be
Ďalší po potope
Abraham.
je Abram alebo Abraham.
So Abraham
Abraham
would be a proclaiming prophet.
je hlasajúci prorok.
Abraham, if you want to write that.
Abram or Abraham?
Abraham. We know he had a name change from Abram to Abraham.
Vieme, že zmena mena od Abram po Abraham.
Yeah. So Abram means the exalted father,
Abram znamená vyvýšený otec
and Abraham
a Abraham
means father of a multitude.
znamená otec mnohých.
So do these names correspond with his ministry?
Korešponduje to s jeho dielom.
Did he exalt the father?
Vyvyšoval otca Abram?
He was living among heathens,
Žil medzi pohanmi
and he was pretty much the only person
a bol jediný,
who kept the law of the Lord,
ktorý sa držal zákona Hospodinovho,
who didn't give human sacrifices to his God,
ktorý nerobil ľudské obete
and he only believed in one God.
a bol jediný, ktorý veril v jediného Boha.
While the tribes around him believed in many gods and did human sacrifices to their gods.
Tie kmene okolo neho verili v mnohých bohov a robili ľudské obete.
Abram, by his lifestyle,
Abraham svojim životom
was exalting the Father,
vyvyšoval otca,
God.
Boha.
And then Abraham, father of a multitude,
Abraham, otec mnohých alebo množstva,
is Abraham a father of a multitude?
stal sa otcom mnohých?
Yes, because that was the promise given to him.
Áno, tomu bolo dané zasľúbenie.
He would be a father of a multitude,
On by bol otcom, že bude otcom mnohých.
and we know today that he is.
A my vieme, že sa to tak stalo.
Okay, Abraham, does he have a time prophecy?
Takže Abraham má časové proroctvo.
Let's see Genesis 15, verses 13 and 14.
Genesis 15, 13 a 14.
Okay, let me see. And he said unto Abram, Know of surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Hospodin riekol Abramovi, vedz istotne, že tvoje semeno bude pohostínom v zemi, ktorá nebude patriť im. A budú im ľuďom tej zeme slúžiť a budú ich trápiť 400 rokov. Ale aj národ, ktorému budú slúžiť, ja budem súdiť a potom výjdu s veľkým majetkom.
Okay, so how long were they supposed to be in captivity?
Ako dlho mali byť v zajatí?
400 let.
400 rokov.
400 years? Is
Mhm.
that okay?
Sorry.
400 years.
400 rokov,
That's what the Bible says.
tak hovorí Biblia.
At other parts in the Bible,
V druhej časti, inej časti Biblie,
we see that it says 430 years.
vidíme, že sa píše 430 rokov.
And later we'll talk about this for a little bit.
Neskôr ešte k tomu sa vyjadrím.
Okay, but for now,
Ale zatiaľ,
commonly we use 400 years.
väčšinou sa používa to 400-ročné proroctvo.
Okay, so who is at the end of this prophecy
Kto je na konci tohto proroctva,
as a prophet, standing as a prophet?
ktorý stojí ako prorok? Mojžiš.
Moses. M-O?
J... Oh. Z... I-S. Can I have the...
Interesting for me to learn.
Okay.
Okay. So Moses is the proclaiming prophet here at the end.
Takže Mojžiš je hlásajúci prorok na konci.
So he's gathering.
You said proclaiming prophet?
Oh, sorry.
Pardon. Mojžiš je zhromažďujúci prorok.
Sorry. Moses is the gathering prophet.
Mojžiš je zhromažďujúci prorok na konci.
Was he gathering a remnant?
Zhromažďoval ostatok.
He was gathering the people of Israel, right?
Zhromažďoval Boží ľud.
And was his message about life and death?
Bolo jeho posolstvo na život a na smrť?
Yes, because those people who didn't hearken to Moses, what happened to them?
Áno, pretože tí, ktorí neprilnuli k tomu, čo im Mojžiš hovoril, čo sa im stalo?
They were killed.
Zomreli.
And what does Moses' name mean?
Čo znamená Mojžišové meno?
Taken out of the water.
Vyťahnutý z vody.
Or saved out of the
Alebo
water.
zachránený z vody.
So Moses himself was saved out of the water.
Mojžiš sám bol vyťahnutý z vody.
But what's also his work and ministry corresponding to his name?
Ale súvisí to aj s jeho dielom alebo so službou?
I suggest yes, because
Ja hovorím, že áno,
he took the people of God through the Red Sea.
pretože zobral Boží ľud cez Červené more.
So also the people were saved out of the water.
Takže aj ten Boží ľud bol vlastne zachránený z vody.
And even if Moses wouldn't have committed that one sin,
A keby Mojžiš nespáchal ten jeden hriech,
he would have again led them through the water to
Takže
Jericho,
znova by ich previedol cez vodu až do Jericha,
through the waters of the Jordan.
Cez Jordán.
So he would have saved them twice, or he would have led them twice through the through water.
Dvakrát by ich viedol cez vodu.
So his name corresponds with his work.
Jeho dielo jeho meno korešponduje s jeho dielom.
Okay, let's read a quote from Ellen White.
Poďme čítať od Ellen Whiteovej.
Patriarchs and Prophets, page 281, paragraph 4.
Patriarchovia a proroci, 281.
That day completed the history revealed to Abram in prophetic visions centuries before. And then she quotes the verses we've already read.
V ten deň sa naplnilo to, čo pred stáročiami smel v prorockom videní pozorovať Abraham. A ona tam zrovna cituje Genesis 15, 13-14.
And then it says the 400 years had been fulfilled.
Storočná lehota sa skončila.
And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
Presne v ten deň vyšli všetky voje hospodinové z egyptskej krajiny.
In their departure from Egypt, the Israelites bore with them a precious legacy and the bones of Joseph, which had so long awaited the fulfillment of God's promise, and which during the dark years of bondage had been a reminder of Israel's deliverance.
Pri svojom odchode z Egypta vzali Izraelci so sebou vzácny odkaz Jozefove kosti, ktoré až do naplnenia Božieho zasľúbenia odpočívali a v temnom období poroby Izraelcom pripomínali ich vyslobodenie.
Okay, so we see that when Israel leaves Egypt,
Vidíme, že keď Izrael odchádza z Egypta,
this ends the 400-year time period.
ukončí to ten úsek 400 rokov, to obdobie 400 ročné.
Okay, let's see here. Let's draw a different picture.
Urobíme trošku iný obrázok.
So this is the Exodus.
To je Exodus, východ z Egypta.
And this is where now the 400 years end.
To je koniec 400-ročného zajatia.
That's what we just read with Ellen White.
To sme čítali presne od Ellen Whiteovej.
Now let's read a quote from Bible verse.
Prečítame z Biblie.
Exodus 12 verse 41.
Exodus 12:41.
And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the 7th day, it came to pass that all the hosts of Lord went out from the land of Egypt.
A stalo sa po dokončení 430 rokov, že práve toho istého dňa vyšli všetky vojska hospodinové z egyptskej zeme.
So we see here that at the Exodus, not only the 400 years end,
Takže vidíme, že pri Exodus nielen končí 400 rokov,
but we see also the 430 end.
ale aj 430 rokov.
So we have two
Takže máme 400.
time periods ending here.
Máme tu dva úseky, ktoré tu končia, dva časové úseky.
430 and the 400.
400 a 430.
So when you calculate back,
Keď to počítame naspäť,
you see that here, the starting point here
ten bod začiatku tu
is where Abraham is 75
je, keď Abraham má 75 rokov
and he leaves Haran,
a odchádza z Haranu,
his old home.
jeho pôvodného domova.
Because if you remember that the Lord tells him, leave your home and I will show you a new land.
Lebo Pán mu povedal, opusti túto svoju zem a ja ti dám novú zem.
And this is starting the 430 time period,
A toto začína to obdobie 430.
where it says, if we look at that this is the time period where Israel or God's people were to be strangers within a land or a different land.
To bol vlastne proroctvo o tom, že Boží ľud mal byť ako takými pútnikmi v cudzej zemi.
And from this time period on, God's people were strangers.
A od tohto času Boží ľud naozaj sa stal pútnikom.
Because Abraham was journeying from one place to the other.
Lebo Abraham cestoval z miesta na miesto.
And he was journeying from one place to the other. Let's take now a different color.
Tu berieme inú farbu.
For 215 years.
215.
430 divided, but you can divide it right in the middle.
Tých 430, keď rozdelíme na poli,
And you have
je to 215 a 215.
you have 215 years here.
A ono to vychádza presne tak, že 215 rokov, can I just say what I see in the picture? Bol v Kanáne a 215 bol v Egypte.
Okay. So here they're sojourning 215 years in Canaan, and here they're 215 years actually in Egypt.
Čiže 215 rokov bol Boží ľud vlastne ako cestovateľom alebo putníkom v Kanáne a 215 v Egypte.
And the time period they go into Egypt, Jacob is 130 years old.
V čase, keď vošli do Egypta, Jakob mal 130 rokov.
It's interesting for me because I always thought there are 400 years actually in Egypt.
Ja som si vždy myslela, že oni boli 400 rokov fyzicky v Egypte.
So for me it was interesting to see, no, they were actually only 215 years in Egypt.
Takže bolo zaujímavé vidieť, že oni tam vlastne boli len 215 rokov.
But the 430 years were about them being strangers.
Ale 430.
430.
Ale tých 430 rokov boli vlastne pútnikmi.
But the 400 years are about them being mocked, teased.
A 400 rokov je čas, kedy oni ako keby kedy boli takí, že sa im vysmievali, alebo boli I don't know how to translate teased and mocked.
Poked.
Že ako keby si z nich robili srandu, tak vyrývali do nich.
And this starts here, in this time period,
A to začína tu,
where here Ismael mocks, what is his name? Isaac.
kde sa Izmael vysmieva Izákovi.
Isaac is mocked here by Ismael.
Izmael sa vysmieva Izákovi.
And this is the starting point of the 400.
A to začalo to 400-ročné proroctvo.
But both time periods end here with the Exodus.
Ale obidve končia s Exodom.
And now the Lord wants to give Israel their own land.
A teraz Pán chce dať Izraelu ich vlastnú zem.
They're supposed to be no strangers anymore.
Už nebudú putníci.
And they're not supposed to be mocked anymore by any other nations.
A už sa im nikto nebude vysmievať.
Okay, to close now.
Prídeme k záveru.
One interesting fact is also, maybe you can open it real quick. Genesis 15 verse 16.
Genesis 15:16.
Genesis 15 verse 16, at least that's what my note says. Yeah. It's about the Exodus.
Hovorí o exode.
Here they to leave Egypt.
Tu odišli z Egypta.
Or let's put it in a different symbol. Here they are to leave captivity.
Tu majú odísť zo zajatia.
And it says in Genesis 15 verse 16,
V Genesis 15:16 sa píše,
but in the fourth generation they shall come thither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
ale štvrté pokolenie sa navráti sem, lebo ešte doteraz nie je naplnená neprávosť Amoreja.
So in what generation were they supposed to leave captivity?
V ktorom pokolení mali odísť zo zajatia?
Ve čtvrtém.
The fourth one.
Štvrtej generácii.
So this is very interesting when we come to our day,
Toto je veľmi
Today.
zaujímavé, keď prídeme do našej doby.
because we know from the study line upon line
My vieme zo štúdia línie na líniu,
that there are also 4 generations to Adventism.
že aj v adventizme sú 4 generácie.
And in the 4th generation of Adventism,
A v štvrtej generácii adventizmu
we're supposed to come out of this darkness,
máme výjsť z temnoty,
spiritual darkness,
duchovnej temnoty,
Laodicean condition,
z Laodicei.
and we're to be free from captivity.
A máme byť oslobodení zo zajatia.
So let's kneel down for prayer and then continue later on.
Poďme zakončiť modlitbu a budeme potom pokračovať.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this day
Drahý nebeský Otče, ďakujeme Ti za dnešok,
and the fellowship we can have here.
za spoločenstvo.
Lord, we see how wonderful truth are contained in your Bible.
Vidíme, aké úžasné pravdy sú v Tvojom slove.
Lord, you promised us that if we dig for it as for hidden treasures,
Ty si nám slúbil, ak to budeme tie pravdy kopať ako skrytý poklad,
you will give them to us and we might call them our own.
dáš nám ich a my si ich budeme môcť privlastniť.
Open our hearts and minds
Otvor naše mysle a srdcia,
to receive these things, Lord,
aby sme ich prijali,
and that it might change our heart.
aby zmenili naše srdcia.
Continue to bless these meetings here, please,
Prosím, požehnávaj nám
and that we have a good time together.
naďalej, aby sme mali spolu
In
dobrý
Jesus,
čas.
in Jesus' name we thank you.
Ďakujeme Ti v mene Ježiša.
Amen.
Amen.